Judge chapter 12. Ephraim fight with Jephthah. Then the people of Ephraim mobilized an army and crossed over the Jordan River to Zebulun. They sent his message to the Jephthah, "Why don't you call for us to help you fight against the Amorite? We are going to burn down your house with you in it." Jephthah replied, "I summoned you at the beginning of the dispute, but you refused to come. You failed to help us in our struggle against the Ammon. So when I realized you weren't coming, I risked my life and went to battle without you, and the Lord gave me victory over the Amorites. So why have you now come to fight me?" The people of the Ephraim responded, You men of Gilead are nothing more than fugitives from Ephraim and Manasseh. So Joseph gathered all the men of Gilead and attacked the men of Ephraim and defeated them. Jephthah captured the shallow crossing of the Jordan River, and whenever a fugitive from Ephraim tried to go back across, the men of Gilead would challenge him. "Are you a member of the tribe of Ephraim?" they would ask. If the man said, "No, I'm not," they would tell him to say Shibboleth. If he was from Ephraim, he would say Shibboleth, because people from Ephraim cannot pronounce the word correctly. Then they would take him and kill him as the shallow crossed the Jordan River. In all, 42,000 Ephraim were killed at the time. Jephthah judged Israel for 6 years. When he died, he was buried in one of the towns of Gilead. Ibzan became Israel's judge. After Jephthah died, Ibzan from Bethlehem judged Israel. He had 30 sons and 30 daughters. He sent his daughter to marry men outside his clan, and he brought in 30 young women from outside his clan to marry his son. Abdam judged Israel for 7 years. When he died, he was buried at Bethlehem. Alan became Israel's judge. After Abdam died, Alan from the tribe of Zebulun judged Israel for 10 years. When he died, he was buried in Ajalon in Zebulun. Adam became Israel's judge. After Adam died, Adam, son of Hel, from Perizim, judged Israel. He had 40 sons and 30 grandsons who rode on 70 donkeys. He judged Israel for 80 years. When he died, he was buried in Perizim in Ephraim, in the hill country of the Amalekite. Chapter 13. The birth of son Samson. Again, the Israel did evil in the Lord's sight, so the Lord handed them over the Philistines, who oppressed them for 40 years. In those days, a man named Mammo from tribe of Dan lived in the town of Zorah. His wife was unable to become pregnant, and they have no children. The angel of the Lord appeared to Manoah's wife and said, "Even though you have been unable to have children, you will soon become pregnant and give birth to a son. So be careful, you must not drink wine or any other alcohol drink, nor eat any forbidden food. You will become pregnant and give birth to a son. And his hair must never be cut, for he will be dedicated to God as a Nazirite from birth. He will begin to rescue Israel from the Philistine. The woman ran and told her husband, "A man of God appeared to me. He looked like one of God's angels. Terrified to see, I didn't ask where he was from, and he didn't tell me his name, but he told me, you will become pregnant and give birth to a son. You must not drink wine or any other alcohol drink, nor eat any forbidden food, for your son will be dedicated to God as a Nazarite from the moment of his birth until the day of his death." Then Moan prayed to the Lord, saying, "Lord, please let the man of God come back to us again and give us more instruction about this son who is to be born." God answered Moan's prayer, and the angel of God appeared once again to his wife as he was sitting in the field. But her husband Moan was not with her. So she quickly ran and told her husband, "The man who appeared to me the other day is here again." Moan ran back with his wife and asked, "Are you the man who spoke to my wife the other day?" "Yes," he replied, "I am." Someone asked him, when your word come true, what kind of rule should govern the boy's life and work? The angel of the Lord replied, be sure your wife follows the instruction I gave her. She must not eat grapes or raisin, drink wine or any other alcohol drink, or eat any forbidden food. Then Moan said to the angel of Lord, please stay here until we can prepare a young goat for you to eat. I will stay. The angel of the Lord replied, but I will not eat anything. However, you may prepare a burnt offering as a sacrifice to the Lord. Moan didn't realize it was the angel of the Lord. Then Moan asked the angel of the Lord, who is? Asked the angel, what is your name? For when all this come true, we want to honor you. Why don't do you ask my name? The angel of the Lord replied, it is too wonderful for you to understand. Then Moab took a young goat and a grain offering and offered it on a rock as a sacrifice to the Lord. And as Moab and his wife watched, the Lord did amazing things. As the flame from the altar shot up toward the sky, the angel of the Lord ascended in the fire. When Moab and his wife saw this, they fell with the face to the ground. The angel did not appear again to Moab and his wife. Moab finally realized it was the angel of the Lord, and he said to his wife, we will certainly die, for we have seen God. And his wife said, if the Lord were going to kill us, he won't have accepted our burnt offering and grain offering. He won't have appeared to us and tell us these wonderful things and done this miracle. When her son was born, she named with him Samson. And the Lord blessed him as he grew up, and the Spirit of the Lord began to stir him where he lived in the Manhattan, which is located between the town of Zorah and Hezron. Chapter 14. Samson's Riddle. One day when Samson was in Timnah, one of the Philistine women caught his eyes. When he returned home, he told his father and mother, a young Philistine woman in temple caught my eyes. I want to marry her. Get her for me. His father and mother object. Isn't that even one woman in our tribe or among all the Israelites you could marry? They ask, why must you go to the pagan Philistine to find a wife? But Samson told his father, get her for me. She looked good for me. To me, his father and mother didn't realize the Lord was at work in this, creating an opportunity to work against the Philistines who ruled over Israel at the time. As Samson and his parents were going down to Timnah, a young lion suddenly attacked Samson near the vineyard of Timnah. At the moment, the spirit of the local Lord came powerful upon him, and he ripped the lion's jaw apart with his bare hand. He did it as easily as it were a young goat. But he didn't tell his father or mother about it. When Samson arrived in Timnah, he talked with the woman and was very pleased with her. Later, when he returned to Timnah for the wedding, he turned off the path to look at the carcass of the lion, and he found that a swarm of bees had made some honey in the carcass. He scooped some of the honey into his hand and ate it along the way. He also gave some of his father and mother, and they ate it. But he didn't tell them he had taken the honey from the carcass of the lion. As his father was making final arrangement for the marriage, Samson threw a party at Timnah, as was the custom of elite young men. When the bride's parents saw him, they selected 30 young men from the town to be his company. Samson said to them, let me tell you a riddle. If you solve my riddle during these 7 days of the celebration, I will give you 30 fine linen robe and 30 set of festival clothing. But if you cannot solve it, then you must give me 30 fine linen robe and 30 set of festival clothing. All right, they agreed. Let's hear your riddle. So he said, out of the one who eats some came something to eat. Out of strong came something sweet. 3 days later, they were still trying to figure it out. On the fourth day, they said to Samson's wife, entice your husband to explain the riddle for us, or we'll burn down your father's house with you in it. Did you invite us to the party just to make us poor? So Samson's wife came to him in tears and said, you don't love me, you hate me, you haven't given my people a riddle. You had give, but you haven't tell me the answer. I haven't even give the answer to my father and or mother, he replied. Why should I tell you? So she cried whenever she was with him and keep it up for the rest of the celebration. At last, on the seventh day, she told her the answer because she was tormented with him with her nagging. Then he explained the riddle to the young man. So before sunset the seventh day, the man of the town came to Samson with the answer. What is sweet than honey? What is stronger than a lion? Samson replied, If you hadn't ploughed with my heifer, you won't have solved my riddle. Then the Spirit of the Lord came powerful upon him. He went down to the town of Ascan, killed 30 men, took their belongings, and gave them clothing to the man who had solved his riddle. But Samson was furious about what had happened, and he went back home and lived with his father and mother. So his wife was given in marriage to the man who had been Samson's best man at the wedding. Chapter 15. Samson's vengeance on the Philistine. Later on, during the wheat harvest, Samson took a young goat as a present to his wife. He said, I'm going to in my wife's room to sleep with her, but her father won't let her in. I truly thought you must hate her, her father explained. So I gave her in marriage to your best man. But look, her younger sister is even more beautiful than she is. Marry her instead, Samson said. This time I cannot be blamed for everything I'm going to do to you, Philistine. Then he went out and caught 300 foxes. He tied their tail together in pair, and he fastened a torch to each pair of tail. Then he lit the torch and let the fox run through the grain field of the Philistine. He burned all the grain to the ground, including the sheaves and the uncut grain. He also destroyed the vineyard and the olive grove. Who did this? The Philistine demanded. Samson, who was replying, because his father-in-law from Timon gave the Samson's wife to be married to his best man. So the Philistine went and got the woman and her father and burned them to death. Because you did this, Samson vowed, I won't rest until I took my revenge on you. So he attacked the Philistines with great fury and killed many of them. Then he went to live in a cave in the rock of Adam. The Philistines retaliated by setting up camp in Judah and spread out near the town of Lai. The men of the Judah asked the Philistines, Why are you attacking us? The Philistines replied, We have come to capture Samson. We have come to pay him back for what he did to us. So 300 men of Judah went down to get Samson at the cave in the rock of Adam. They said to Samson, Don't you realize the Philistines rule over us? What are you doing to us? But Samson replied, I only did to them what they did to me. But the men of Judah told him, We have come to tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines. All right, Samson, but promise that you won't kill me yourself. We will only tie you up and hand you over to the Philistines, they replied. We won't kill you. So they tied him up with 2 new ropes and brought him up from the rock. And Samson arrived at Lai. The Philistines came shouting in the buzz. The Spirit of the Lord came powerful upon the Samson, and he snapped the rope on his arm as if they were burned strands of flax, and they fell from his wrist. Then they found the jawbone of a recently killed donkey. He picked it up and killed 1,000 Philistines with it. Then Samson said, With the jawbone of a donkey I piled them in a heap. With the jawbone of the donkey I killed 1,000 men. When he finished his boasting, he threw away the jawbone, and the place was named Jawbone Hill. Samson was now very thirsty, and he cried out to the Lord, You have accomplished this great victory by the strength of your servant. Must I now die of thirst and fall into the hand of this pagan? So God caused the water to gush out a hollow in the ground at Lai, and Samson was revived as he drank. Then he named that place the spring of the one who cried out, and it is still in the Lehi to this day. Samson judged Israel for 20 years during the period when the Philistines dominated the land. Then we go into the chapter 16. So those several chapters is talking about there's more judge rise and down, based on the God's spirit and the power and the guidance and the commandment. And Israel people is no king, only judge. And that time, I think Israel, different tribe even they have some different ideas. Sometimes they forgot God's commandment, they didn't follow. Sometimes they do followed, or they oppressed by some other people, and then they cry out to Lord, and the Lord give them a judge, guide them, lead them to fight back. And until now, they have a Samson. But Samson's story look like it's too wandered. Yes, really, it's too wandered. That is not a normal man. He I think he will make a lot of mistake. From Samson, he abused the God's power. That is for sure. Alright, so we will continue Samson's story tomorrow. So that is for today's God Bible's learning. Hope everybody like it. God bless you, everyone. Let's see you tomorrow.